Wings up, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to our Reset Friday call, the G2 Reset call. I'm so glad to see each and every one of you all on the call today. We're going to get right in it. You guys know that this is our Friday mindset development call. Outside of our Thursdays and Wednesdays calls that we have when we talk about product and we talk about things such as sales and company business and things of that nature, we've set aside on Fridays, the second and fourth Fridays of every month, is where we come into our G2 Global reset room so we can kind of wind down from all the things that we've been dealing with, whether it be business, personal, or what have you. This is where we can come on our second and fourth Fridays and get a little bit of reinforcement, okay? So that's what we're talking about today is going to be deleting the default. This is our reset, our G2 Global reset room. So this is where we come and we start upgrading our thinking, and so we can upgrade our life and we can change our perspective on things. One of the things that I've realized, and I talk about this all the time, is that the reason why we have not accomplished the things that we want to accomplish in life is simple. It's because of mindset. It's because of mindset development. The reason why we continue to keep getting the results that we keep getting time after time after time is because of our mindset. It's because of our thinking pattern, okay? And people wonder, like, why do I keep getting these same results? Why do I keep ending up in the same predicament? Why do I keep having the same financial problems over and over? Why do I keep having the same relationship problems over and over? Why do I keep bumping my head and keep hitting the same roles and knowing that I learned or I went through this situation before, but it just seems like I keep going back and into the same predicament time after time after time. And what really happens is, what's really happening is that there's a default in your thinking that you have not released and let go of. Okay? There's a default in your thinking that you have not released and let go of. Okay? So I wanted to attack that today because we must get rid of our default thinking. Okay, so if your mind is the operating system in your life, then default thinking is the outdated software that keeps crashing your dreams. If your mind is the operating system of your life, then default thinking is the outdated software that keeps crashing your dreams. All of us have dreams, and all of us have had dreams, and all of us still have dreams. And somewhere down the line, it seems like people have let their dreams go. It seems like they've let their hopes go. It seems like they've lost their plans, right? Because of their outdated thinking. Okay? They're crashing their dreams. I said this in one of our trainings one time. Don't forget to dream. Don't stop dreaming. Listen, you cannot start the next chapter in your life. We are all at different places in our life, but you cannot go into that next chapter of your life if you keep repeating and keep rereading the last chapter. A lot of us are rereading the last chapters, okay? And so because of that, we keep repeating those same chapters. This is default thinking, right? Default thinking. So most people live 90 to 95% of their life on autopilot, which means that they're running mental programs that they didn't consciously choose to run. Isn't that something? Most people live 90 to 95% of their life on autopilot. On autopilot. So most of the times, the things that we do it subconsciously, not knowing, because our mind is running a mental program. that we did not consciously choose. Where did it come from? These mental defaults were downloaded in our brain. It was given to us from our childhood. It was embedded in us from different experiences. We've gathered these different default thinkings from our culture. We've got culturistic thinking, right? So there's things that happens in different cultures that causes a certain level of default thinking, right? We get these mindsets and these downloads from our family beliefs, things that our mama said, things that our daddy said, things that our siblings taught us, our aunts, grandmother, our friends, right? Picking up some of their beliefs and just repeated habits. Just repeated habits, right? So the brain actually comes with mental settings, okay? There's mental settings, okay? But many of those settings that we have in our brain, unfortunately, limit your potential. Why? Because of the thinking, all right? So today, what we have to deal with is reprogramming, okay? So we got to think about reprogramming, all right? So deleting default thinking is not about erasing your past. It's not about that. What it's about programming or reprogramming, for lack of better words. It's about reprogramming your present so your future is no longer dictated by yesterday's limitations, right? So default thinking is not about getting rid of everything that you knew. It's not about getting rid of those experiences. A lot of times, those experiences that we've had in life has made us, or some of those experiences we've allowed to break us. But regardless of those experiences, deleting default thinking is not about erasing those experiences. It's simply about reprogramming your mind so your thinking, okay, is no longer dictated by the limitations that you had on yesterday and what you felt on yesterday. So you can't start this next chapter and this next phase in your life if you keep on rereading and keep repeating the last chapter. What happened on yesterday? Why didn't I grow up like this? Why didn't I have two parents in my household? Why didn't I have the house that I wanted? Why didn't I have the marriage that I wanted? Why didn't I go to the school that I wanted, right? Dwelling on what was yesterday, rereading that last chapter and staying in that place. You guys know a lot of people stay in certain chapters in their life. Have you all ever seen that? You ever seen people that, they were back in the 1980s and 1990s, and for some reason, on 2000, they got stuck there? And you see them all the way in 2025, still doing the things that they were doing back in the early 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. That's because they've got default thinking. Their brain has downloaded a ton of different experiences, different culturalistic behaviors, family beliefs, and repeated habits over the years that has caused a certain type of mindset. And that particular mindset, most of the time, is keeping you stagnated. Okay? It's keeping you stagnated. So the meaning of this default thinking is that default thinking is an automatic condition response we operate from. It's an automatic condition response that we operate from. What do you mean automatic? That means that it's a thought or a feeling or action that comes about without conscious decisions. It's automatic, right? It's a thought or a feeling or action that just happens without conscious decisions, like muscle memory, right? I was driving today, and I started, and I know all of you all do this too. When you're driving, you have your brain has gone to a certain default setting that you almost drive in that car without you putting any effort to it because it's just become part of you, right? You can almost close your eyes if you want to. I'm not suggesting that anybody do that, but you can kind of feel your way, right? You know the car is coming here. You know to go this way. You become one, right? Because you've built up this default thinking that now your brain operates on its own automatically without you having to do anything. And I was telling my wife today, it's funny that, we even talking about this subject, and we were driving. We were going somewhere, and she said, "Hey, why are you getting off on this exit?" Well, that's the exit that we normally get off on every time we're driving. And I said, "Man, isn't that? Look at that." I said, "My brain automatically says we're going this way because it's on default thinking." You all ever have that situation where your brain just does what it want to do? Right? That's the power of the brain. Okay, so automatic just simply means that these thoughts and these feelings or actions come about without these conscious decisions. Okay, so it's just a condition of the mind that happens without you having to think. So a conditioned response is really just a learned reaction that repeats over time, over and over and over and over. That's what gets you conditioned. This is why we talk about affirmations all the time. This is why we talk about rehearsing your scripts and things like that in sales all the time. You have to keep conditioning your mind over and over and over for you to become what you desire to become in your life. Because so would a man think it, right? So is he. Whatever a man think that he is, that's what you are. I hate when I hear people say things like, one day I'm going to be a millionaire. How about saying I'm already a millionaire? How about saying I'm already wealthy? It's a mindset. What do you mean one day? What's wrong with today? What's wrong with today proclaiming your wealth and your position financially, right? What's wrong with today claiming your your family dynamics? You want to have a husband or a wife and children. What's wrong with claiming that you're going to be the CEO, the president, or whatever it is, your business owner? What's wrong with claiming these things even before you're that? Because when you do that, here's the power of the mind. When you proclaim what you desire, and you keep proclaiming what you desire, that becomes your default thinking. It becomes a part of you. When you keep proclaiming that you're successful and powerful, when you keep proclaiming that your family is rich and healthy, when you keep proclaiming that you're going to impact the world and impact those that's around you, that you're the head and you're the tail, when you keep proclaiming these things, guess what happens? Manifestation comes about. I hate when I hear people say things like, I'm broke, I'm busted. Man, life is just too much for me. It's just messed up for me. Because when you speak these things, this is what you're telling your body. All the cells in your body is going to react to what you spoke. When you tell your body, I'm sick and tired, your body then reacts to what you just told it, right? To what your brain just said. Your brain just told your body that you can't go anymore. I'm sick and tired. So guess what you do? You go and lay down in the bed. You go and start pouting. You get into a funk because you've told yourself that you're sick and tired. You've told yourself that you're broke. You told yourself that, life is messed up for you. You said this. The difference between poor people and wealthy people is that poor people think that life happens to them, while wealthy people and rich-minded people, and I'm not talking about money in the bank, I'm talking about mental status, right? Says that life happens for them. Poor people proclaim that life just happens to them. It's just life. It is what it is. You can't change it. But wealthy and rich-minded people proclaim that life happens for them. You have the power right in the palm of your hands and in your mind to proclaim exactly what you want and to go after it and do it. If you don't do it, and if you don't accomplish it, it's because somewhere in your mind, you've created some level of doubt that won't allow you to move past your fear. So default thinking is an automatic condition. It's an automatic condition response that we operate from. Everybody does it. Everybody. And it's built from habits. It's built from environments. It's built from past experiences. That's where it comes from. Think about your past. Think about your environment. Think about think about the people that you frequent and that you frequently speak to and hang out with. Think about those habits. Some of you all that's couples, right? Some of you all that's couples. After a while, you start doing what your spouse does. Start sounding like them. Start acting like them sometimes. What about some of the people we start acting like our parents? And you say to yourself, man, I sure sound like my mama now. Or I sure sound like my father. Well, those past experiences and those past habits and environments has cultivated your thought process. This is why people, places, and things is very important. That you have to make sure that you're around the right people. You have to make sure you hang around the right places. And you have to make sure that you engage in the right things. Okay? Because if you don't, the experiences of those things that's not good is going to build a negative thought process and a negative default. Okay? So why is this so dangerous? Why is it so dangerous? It's dangerous because it keeps you limited. It keeps you in the same place and the same patterns. Y'all ever went to school with people when you were younger and you see them when you get older? You're like, man, they still doing the same thing. Right? That default thinking will keep you in the same place. If you don't change what's wired in your brain. Okay? So limited creativity is really just repeating old patterns that's now blocking these new ideas. Let me give you an example. People used to say, this is just how it's always been. Right? That's a old pattern, an old thought that's blocking you and preventing you from new ideas. It is what it is. That's a thought process that's limiting you and blocking you from gaining new ideas. It reinforces doubt. So past failures trigger self-questionings from you. Okay? Past failures trigger self-questioning before trying it again. It reinforces doubt. So your past failures and the things that has caused you to fail in the past, it starts to trigger your brain in your mind and starts making you question what you're doing before you try to do it again. Does that make sense? It reinforces that doubt. Okay? It keeps you living the same year. It keeps you living the same year after year, over and over and over. So Dr. Dispenza, he teaches that your personality, he wrote a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, but he teaches that your personality, your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviors create a personal reality. Your personality, your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors creates your personal reality. If you want a new life, you must literally become a new version of yourself. If you want to become a reinvented person, you have to literally become a new version of yourself. How do you do that? By breaking the neurological and emotional patterns that you've accumulated over the past. These patterns are causing your brain and your mind to stay stuck. And you will not get far staying stuck. So dreaming, you know, when you received that dream when you was younger, most of us, when you were kids, you had this big dream, right? You were dreaming, you just kept dreaming, but that was the vision that the Creator gave you as a young vessel. And this is what you're supposed to hold on to. It's a visual, a mental visualization of what your future could possibly hold for you. If you stay true and hold on to the dream. Some of you all have stopped dreaming. And you've stopped dreaming because of the default thinking. You stopped dreaming because of past experiences. You've stopped dreaming because of past hurts. You've stopped dreaming because of past fears. Some of these fears is even stopping you in business where you can't exceed because you're so afraid that you're going to get hurt again like you did last time. You're so afraid that you're going to take a loss like you did last time. Some of you all don't want to get in relationships because you're so afraid that she's going to cheat on you like the last one did, or he's going to cheat on you like the last one did. They're going to walk out on you, right? It's the past experiences that's causing you to make current, right now decisions. And so we have to become cognizant of these past experiences. We have to become cognizant of what our defaults are, okay? So don't be a prisoner of your past. It was just a lesson, not a life sentence. Don't become a prisoner of your past. What happened to you in the past was just a lesson. It was just a lesson. It was not a life sentence. It was not intended to stay in that place and continue to be tortured by the pains of your past. Some of us hang out there, and it's causing you not to be able to move forward because you're hanging out in the pains of your past. You're hanging out in the frustrations of your past. You're hanging out at the place of the fears of your past. And that's where you've allowed your default thinking to be harmful to you. Dr. Dispenza says that 95% of the thoughts that we think daily are the same as yesterday. What? Are you kidding me? 95% of the thoughts that we think daily are the same thoughts as yesterday. So if your frequency from yesterday is not at a high, and you spent that whole day yesterday on low vibrations and low frequency, the likelihood, according to Dr. Dispenza and his research, he said the likelihood that the next day, 95% of the same energy and the same thought process and the same things that you were thinking about on yesterday and bogging you down yesterday, you're going to carry it over to the next day. Come on, y'all, tell me that that's not true. And so the neural pathways in our brain, the neural pathways, these are just bundles of neurons that's connected through repeated thoughts and feelings of action. But these neural pathways reinforce repeated thoughts, making change harder without intentional disruption. Come on, y'all. The mindset, the mind reinforces repeated thoughts. Remember, 95% of the thoughts we think daily are the same as yesterday. So the neural pathways reinforce these same repeated thoughts over and over and over, making change harder without intentional disruption. So the brain is wired funny. The brain is wired funny. If I'm going to think 95% of the same thoughts that I thought on yesterday, I better make darn sure that my thought process is on a daily intentional, right? Being intentional, my thought process better be on an all-time high. Because if it's not, then that means that I'm going to keep carrying from day after day after day after day the same doubtful, the same hurtful, the same pains, the same stress, and the same. I'm going to carry it through the next day and the next day and the next day, unless I become intentional in disrupting it. You have to be intentional with disrupting those thought processes and reaffirming, okay? Reaffirming what should have been embedded in your mind already, but reaffirming positive frequency. So neuroscientific fact says that the brain reticular activating system, which is called the RAS, these filters information to match what you believe is true. Okay, so the reticular activating system filters information to match what you believe to be true. Okay, so whatever you believe to be true, the brain's RAS system filters information to match what you think is true. So if you believe that I'm not good at sales, or if you believe I'm not a good person, or if you believe that you're bad at this, or you believe all of these things, your brain will highlight that. and then support it. And then you're going to walk in it daily. If you believe that no one's going to call me back, when I call this client, no one's going to support my business. If you believe that one day I'm never going to find the Mr. Right or the Mrs., if you believe one day that I'm not going to be successful in my business and I'm going to always be, just part of an impoverished circle, if you believe that and you just believe that it is what it is, and life, life just happens, your brain is going to support what you thought. It's going to highlight that and support it. Okay. So, what what the system does basically, it just shows you and shows your mind what you believe is important and what you believe is true. Okay? You buy a red car. Watch this, and I know this is happening to everybody. You buy yourself a red car. You buy yourself a particular type of car. You buy yourself a Cadillac, you buy yourself a Mercedes, whatever you like, right? But ironically, whatever type of car you buy, is it just me? I know y'all can attest to this. But all of a sudden, you start seeing that same car everywhere. Like, man, there go my car. Hey, I got that car. But before you bought the car, you didn't see it as much as you did, right? Well, that's because the brain's RAS system, the reticular activating system, filters billions and billions of sensory inputs in your mind, and it decides in your brain what's going to get your attention based on what you like. Based on what you like. That's the power of your brain. Its job is to decide what gets your attention. It's crazy. Which is why you have to feed your brain what you want it to be and to become. Whatever you put in your brain is what you're going to get out. Whatever you put in your mind is what you're going to get out. If you're not feeding your mind, okay? If you're not feeding your mind, then you can expect the results of you not feeding your mind. Listen, people who set specific mindsets change, those are 42% more likely to achieve them. People who set specific mindset change. Okay? Mindset change goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. You have to be intentional and replace that default thinking with positive thinking. I'm not good with money, right? You have to replace that with I have power over money, and money is a tool that I master. I'm always messing things up. You have to replace that with I'm capable, and I learn quickly from every experience that I've been in. Nobody listens to me. You have to replace that with my voice carries power and value, and the right people will hear me. Man, nothing ever happens to me. Opportunities never come my way. You have to replace that thinking with I create and attract opportunities daily. They come to me automatically. I'm just not smart enough. I'm not bright enough. You have to replace this thinking with I'm always learning, I'm always growing, and I'm becoming wiser and smarter every day. You have to replace default thinking and be intentional with this. This is a power move. Okay? This is a power move. You have to be intentional with this. So you have to choose your thoughts. Okay? Your thoughts is what shape your reality. Your thoughts shapes your reality. Whatever your reality is today, okay? Now watch this. Whatever your reality is today is because your thoughts shape them. Wherever situations or places that we are today in our life, right now, today, all of us, it's based on the choice of our thoughts shaping that reality, right? So with default thinking, here's the steps to deleting that, right? Number one, you have to identify what the default is. That's number one. Where did this come from? Where did it come from? Childhood programming, family, money beliefs, self-worth messages. Where did this thinking come from? Cultural norms and stereotypes. Where did this thinking come from? Past failures and emotional pains. Where did this thinking come from? What about other people's opinion of you? People who have some sort of power or authority that has formed an opinion of you and you've adopted it. Where did it come from? So you have to identify the origin of where you are in your thought process. Where did that default come from? Okay. Step number two, you want to challenge to replace it. You want to find counterproof or you want to find counterproof to limiting your belief. Okay. Replace it with, what I just said earlier. I'm not good with money, but you can replace that with I have power over money, right? That's just an example. I'm learning how to manage money, right? Money is a tool. People give too much power to money, y'all. We give too much power to it. It's paper. It's just a tool. Yes, it's a tool that we need, but money doesn't give us power. We give it power. Money does not tell us what to do unless you let it, right? Some of your money tells you to go buy a purse, buy a car, buy a house, or whatever it is that you're telling you to do. Might want to buy something, but money does not determine or dictate what you do. You dictate what money does for you. You have the power to tell your $100 bill to leave and to come back with 10 more of you. All right. You can send your $100 bill out and command it to come back with 10 more by placing it in the right position. So you have to identify where it comes from. And then you have to, number two, change and replace your thought process. Okay. Then you have to install a new operating system, a new mental operating system. This is why you're in these rooms. This is why we're here on the second and fourth Fridays every month. This is why you're reading self-help books. This is why you're in your Bible, in your Quran, right? Because you're installing a new operating system that gives you affirmations and gives you visualizations, and it causes new habits for you. This new system, this new mental system. Neuroplasticity shows that the brain rewires consistently with new input. Neuroplasticity, okay? It shows that the brain constantly rewires with consistent new input daily, every second. Okay? So your default thinking is the autopilot of your life. You don't change the settings. You don't change the settings. You just keep flying the same route year after year, wondering why this destination of your mind never changes or your life never changes. So tonight, hopefully you've learned how to take that type of control back. All right? The power is not in what's been done to you. There's no power in what's been done to you unless you give it that power. If you give power to what's been done to you, you won't be able to enjoy what's in store for you. Okay? So if you give power to what's been done to you, you won't be able to enjoy what's in store for you. Okay? So the power is not in what's been done to you, but it's in what you choose to think next. What you choose to think next. Your brain is not a prison. It's not a prison. The brain is not a prison. It's not a closed and shut door. It's a construction site. It's being built. You're steady building. And starting today and tonight, what I want us to do in our G2 Global family, right, is I want you to realize that you're not just the architect, okay? You're the builder of your life. You're the builder. My mother told me when I was young, she's on the call, I don't know if she remembers this, but I was a kid. I remember my mother telling me that life is like a play. And she said that all of us we get a pencil. And on that pencil, you get an eraser and you get lead on one side. So you get the ability to write in your script what you choose to write. And you also get the right to erase in your script of life what you choose to erase. So your brain and your life is a construction. You're steady building. All right? You're not just the architect, you're the builder of your life. And you're the builder of the life that you were meant to live. Whatever that life is that you decided you want to live, you have the power by being intentional and eliminating these default thinkings and the thoughts that has hindered you from the past. You have the ability to change those thought patterns. Right? Every day you should be in the mirror saying, I choose my thoughts, and my thoughts shape my reality. Every day you should be in the mirror saying, I see possibilities everywhere I look. Every day you should be in the mirror speaking, I am worthy of success and joy right now, not in the future, not in the afterlife, but I am worthy of success and enjoying this life right now, today. You ought to be in the mirror saying, every day I get better and stronger, no matter what's happening in my life. I release the past and I design my future with intention. Whatever has happened to me in the past, I release it. And I design my future with intention. I'm getting rid of the default thinking, because default thinking has made me and caused me to be stagnated and to be held in one place. It's caused me not to be able to move because my thought won't get past my right now. My thought process won't get past my fear. My thought process won't get past my childhood trauma. My thought. my thinking. And so when we're thinking like this, then we do things subconsciously and not know that we're doing it because we're on default. So every day, because all of us have a default system, we have to be intentional with replacing the negative things that we've allowed to attach themselves to our spirits and our mind. We have to intentionally delete those things in order to go to our next. Some of you all cannot go to your next, and some of us won't ever move to our next because we're blocked by our thoughts and our default. You can't move to your next place. I don't care how much you keep saying, listen, I'm about to be very successful. I'm about to go buy the house that I want. I'm about to have this. I'm about to have that. And I'm going to have all of these things. I'm going to do all of these things. But yet you have not changed your thought process. You have not changed your thinking. You're still thinking the same thoughts that you were thinking on yesterday. The same thoughts. Still holding on to the same pain. You're still holding on to the same drama. You still mad at the same people that you was mad at in 1990 and don't know why you still mad at them. Only because your brain is on default and it won't allow you to be unmad. You have the power in your brain to control your thought process. Whatever it is that you think that you desire in life, you have the power to achieve it. And you do that by eliminating default negative thinking. Your mind is the operating system. Okay? It's an operating system. And if you know that every day, 90 to 95% of the time, okay, most people living out their day on autopilot, they're running on a mental program that they don't even know that they're running on. So sometimes when you come across people that may not, have the same mindset as you, okay, sometimes you just have to, you just gotta have, sometimes you have to have grace with people, right? Because they just don't know. But then those that don't know and choose not to want to know, very dangerous. Very dangerous. It's one thing to not know, but desire to learn. And it's something completely different when you not know and you don't even know that you need to know. That's a level of default thinking that 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 has people in some real serious dilemmas in their life because they can't let go of what has happened to them. They can't let go of that thought process on that thinking pattern. Because their mama did it, they daddy did it this way. Their grandmama did it this way. And so if you're repeating the same history, you're going to get the same results that they receive. Okay. So today, I want us to think about where our default thinking came from and how it affected your life, how it has been affecting you. Has your thought process gotten you to the place in your life that you desire to be? Has your thought process caused you to elevate to a place in your life where you desire to be? Get my tissue out the way. Okay? Think about that. Why am I here where I'm at now in my life? Am I happy? Am I content where I'm at? And if the answer is no, if the answer is yes, stay where you're at. But if the answer is no, and you're not content, that's great. You should always be wanting to elevate and expand. And it all comes from here. It's all thinking. That's all it is. Sometimes we make stuff so much bigger than what it is. It's just thinking. Okay. People that got money in the bank got money in the bank because of a thought process. They're not so special. They're not any special than any one of us, right? They just have a thought process. Okay, that's it. That manifests and materializes things from an economic standpoint, right? Just because of their thought process. They know what to do, where to get it, how to keep it. It's a thinking. And that's what we have to learn. We should always, I see Tara just said, my wife said, we should always be willing to elevate and increase and expand. You should always want to keep being a student. The moment you stop being a student is the moment you might as well just lay down and die. When you can't learn anymore and nobody can teach you or tell you anything, right? They said that the difference between poor people and also wealthy people is that poor people, you can't tell them anything. They know it all. They already know it. Default thinking, right? They know it all. You can't put anything in their brain because they know it. I know how to do it. I know. Where rich people and wealthy-minded people are always seeking information. They want to know more. And they'll learn from a bum on the street. Okay? But the poor-minded, and when I say poor, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about mindset. But the poor mind says, I know it already. I got this. And don't want to listen. And that's why poor people are the most skeptical of them all. That's the craziest thing. I get more resistance from poor-minded people than I get from people that I deal with money. Right? Poor people, you can't tell anything. The other hand, the rich people always learning and growing. That's right, Kaya. Can't tell them anything. And I know people like that. Okay? I know people like that. I know you do too. So think about this over the weekend, guys, about this default thinking. Every day, I want you guys to be intentional. All of us, not just you, but all of us, me too. Let's be intentional about what we add to our mental plate and what we allow to come in our mental presence. I don't care what it comes, who it is or who it comes by. You want to make sure that you stay out of the way. I try to stay clear of anything negative. Any type of negative frequency, I want to stay as far as possible from it. Okay, the gossiping, the idle time. You got people that'll call you and want to stay on your line and not, have anything. They don't. Their default thinking doesn't allow them to expand past their right now. And so you can't connect yourself to these people because they're going to waste your time to do the same thing because of their default thinking. Okay. So be intentional. Be intentional with what you do. Be intentional. Okay? Be intentional. Don't make your past and your pains of your past your right now reality. Shake it off. My dad used to tell me when I was little and I would fall off my bike and I'll fall or something before I started crying and having a feel like, he say, shake it off. It's just pain. It's just pain. Shake it off. Okay? So today, before we end this call, I just want to say to everybody that no matter where you are in your life, no matter where you are in your thought process, no matter you have the ability to change it. You have the ability to change the course and the trajectory of where you're going. But no matter the pains that you experience, no matter the relationship pains, the work pains, or whatever the situation, the hardship and experiences that you had to endure, My word for you today is shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off and delete the default thinking. Listen, this is your guy, Mo. This is our Friday reset call. I hope that this call has helped you just today to change the way that you see things and change your thought process and start shaking off some of those things that's keeping you in a stagnated place. You don't have to be broke. You don't have to be in a mental place of despair. You don't have to be in these sad places. You don't have to be in these places of desperation or anything. You don't have to be in these places that you don't desire to be. You have every right and you have the power to place yourself in the place that you desire to be with just keeping your mindset where it needs to be. And that's keeping it elevated. Delete the default thinking, guys. I'll see each and every one of you all at the top. Salute to you. This is your guy, Mo G2 Global Network.
Thank you.